He had learned that status and reputation is far more important than people or love. To be in control and demand control in every situation was what he had to have. And people were there to do what he wanted them to do and nothing more. I will give you what I think you need and nothing more. Was exactly the type of control he was raised under. You have no right to ask anything of me. I'm in control and I will choose it. Yet he was under no authority and he answered to no one. He just abused his authority over others. And the truth is, he was a beast long before he ever came the beast. So when the enchantress came across him, what she cursed him with was that what was in his heart would now be on the surface of his skin. See, if you're a beast inside, you can't hide it very long. Eventually what's in your heart comes out. And it penetrates the skin. So where were his parents in the story? I began to research and began to try to find. What I know is that he suffered from an abusive father. Mother was more than likely not in the picture, probably lost at birth, lost her life, which is very common back then. And he was never raised with the nurturing hand of love. He was raised with a demanding father.
Wow, that's good.
So he was lonely. That's what we know. But we do know he was raised with a number of servants around him, and those servants became part of the curse. At one point in the new movie, and I'm not saying that you should go watch it because there are some things in there I was really mad and had a moment with. But in the new movie, it talks, at one point, Mrs. Potts says, we deserved this curse on us also, because we allowed him to be that way. Because she was one of the servants, she was there, she saw his behavior, and she never stepped in. And she said, this curse was ours to bear too. It's a pretty powerful statement. We so often get upset at the people that are wounded and their issues and stuff, but if you never stop them and confront them, then you're a part of it. Silence becomes consent. You know, you can get mad at your kid's behavior, but as a mom, if you don't stand up and say, honey, this is wrong,
Yep.
then your silence has consented to it. And they didn't stand up. And so this young man becomes a beast on the outside, but he was already there as a young man. So they were in this lesson together. Someone had broken this young man. He didn't get there on his own. He was wounded and someone wounded him. And before that, someone had wounded that person that wounded him. And so the story goes on and on and on. And so often we see this kind of abuse in families. The father's abusive to the son, but the father had an abusive father, and the father had an abusive father, and the story goes on and on until somebody stands up and says, I'm going to end this right now.
Amen.
It ends with me. If light isn't shined into the darkness, it just seems to continue. So what do I see in the beast? You know, sometimes as a woman we live with a beast. And sometimes we are the beast.
Amen.
And I'm going to explain to you what it is to be a beast and be a woman. What I see in this beast is what I see in many people, including myself. And I find myself here. Not so much now, but in my past. We try so hard for approval and to be validated, especially as a woman, and we try for the perfect body, the perfect complexion, the perfect hair, the perfect outer beauty. We try to have the perfect husband, the best career, the most flawless children, which is the stupidest concept known to man. Because children are flawed from the get-go, and we're supposed to love them beyond their flaws. And we're flawed, so why we demand perfection, I don't know. We just are weird. We just are.